My Neighbor's Secret. Hello, my name is Jason. I am 17 years old and live in a small town. Today I want to tell you about an unexpected adventure that started with my neighbor's secret. I live with my parents and my younger sister, Lily, in a cozy house on Maple Street. Our town is quiet and peaceful, with friendly neighbors and a close-knit community. One of our neighbors is Mr. Thompson. He is an elderly man who lives alone in the house next to ours. Mr. Thompson is very private and doesn't talk much to anyone. He spends most of his time in his garden or inside his house. One summer afternoon, I was playing basketball in our driveway when I saw Mr. Thompson struggling to carry a heavy box into his house. I quickly ran over to help him. "Do you need some help, Mr. Thompson?" I asked. He looked at me with surprise and then smiled. "Yes, thank you, Jason. That would be very kind of you," he said. I helped him carry the box inside. The house was dimly lit, and I noticed many old books and papers scattered around. Mr. Thompson thanked me for my help and offered me a glass of lemonade. We sat down in his kitchen, and for the first time, we had a real conversation. He told me about his late wife and how much he missed her. He also mentioned that he used to be a history professor at a university. As we talked, I noticed a small locked door in the hallway. It seemed out of place, and I couldn't help but be curious about what was behind it. However, I didn't want to be rude, so I didn't ask Mr. Thompson about it. In the following weeks, I often saw Mr. Thompson working in his garden or reading on his porch. We started talking more, and I enjoyed listening to his stories about the past. He was very knowledgeable and had a lot of interesting things to share. Despite our growing friendship, I couldn't stop thinking about the locked door in his house. One day, Mr. Thompson asked me if I could help him organize some old papers in his study. I agreed and went over to his house. As we sorted through the papers, I saw a photograph of Mr. Thompson and a younger man who looked a lot like him. "Is this your son?" I asked. Mr. Thompson's expression changed and he looked sad. "Yes, that's my son, David. He lives in another state now. We haven't spoken in years," he said quietly. I felt sorry for him and didn't press the matter further. As we continued working, I couldn't help but glance at the locked door again. My curiosity was growing stronger. A few days later, I decided to ask my parents if they knew anything about Mr. Thompson's past. My mom told me that Mr. Thompson used to be very active in the community, but after his wife passed away, he became more reclusive. My dad mentioned that he had heard rumors about Mr. Thompson having a strained relationship with his son, but he didn't know the details. That evening, I was sitting in my room, thinking about Mr. Thompson and the locked door. I decided that I needed to find out more. The next day, I went to the town library to see if I could find any information about Mr. Thompson and his family. At the library, I found some old newspaper articles about Mr. Thompson. They mentioned his career as a history professor and his contributions to the community. There were also a few articles about his wife's passing and a brief mention of his son, David. However, there was nothing that explained the locked door or the reason for the strained relationship with his son. I left the library feeling frustrated but determined to find out the truth. I decided to talk to Mr. Thompson directly. The next time I saw him in his garden, I approached him and asked if we could talk. "Mr. Thompson, I've been thinking a lot about our conversations and the things I've learned about you," I began. "I hope you don't mind me asking, but I've noticed the locked door in your house. I've been curious about it, and I was wondering if you could tell me what's behind it." Mr. Thompson looked at me for a long moment and then sighed. "Jason, you are a good boy with a kind heart. I suppose it's time I shared my secret with someone." He invited me inside and led me to the locked door. He took a key from his pocket and unlocked it. Behind the door was a small room filled with old photographs, letters, and memorabilia. There was a large, dusty trunk in the corner. "Mr. Thompson opened the trunk and took out a stack of letters tied with a ribbon. He handed them to me and said, "These are letters from my son, David. We used to be very close, but things changed after my wife passed away. David blamed me for her death, and we had a falling out." He went on to explain that David had moved away and started a new life. They had lost contact, and Mr. Thompson had kept the room as a way to remember the good times they had shared as a family. He hadn't had the heart to open the room or read the letters in years. I felt a deep sense of empathy for Mr. Thompson. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Thompson. It must be very hard for you," I said. He nodded and said, "It is, Jason. But talking to you has made me realize that it's time to try and reconnect with David. I don't want to live with regrets." I offered to help him write a letter to his son. He agreed, and we spent the afternoon drafting a heartfelt letter. Mr. Thompson thanked me for my help and said he would send the letter the next day. A few weeks passed, and I continued to spend time with Mr. Thompson. We worked in his garden, talked about history, and played chess. One afternoon, as we were enjoying some lemonade on his porch, the mailman arrived with a letter. Mr. Thompson's hands trembled as he opened it. It was a reply from David. David's letter was filled with emotion. He expressed his regret for the years of silence and his desire to reconnect with his father. He wrote about his own family and how much he missed his father. Mr. Thompson's eyes filled with tears as he read the letter aloud. "Jason, this is the best gift I could have ever received. Thank you for encouraging me to reach out to David," Mr. Thompson said, his voice trembling with emotion. I felt a warm sense of happiness and relief. "I'm so glad, Mr. Thompson. This is a new beginning for both of you," I said. In the following weeks, Mr. Thompson and David exchanged more letters and phone calls. They slowly rebuilt their relationship and the joy it brought to Mr. Thompson was evident. He seemed more lively and happy, and I was grateful to have played a part in his reconciliation with his son. One day, Mr. Thompson invited me and my family to a special dinner at his house. He told us that David and his family were coming to visit. I was excited to meet David and see the family reunited. When the day of the dinner arrived, we went to Mr. Thompson's house. David, his wife, and their 2 children were already there. The atmosphere was filled with happiness and warmth. We all sat down to a delicious meal that Mr. Thompson and David had prepared together. During dinner, David shared stories about his life and work. He expressed his gratitude for the chance to reconnect with his father. Mr. Thompson looked happier than I had ever seen him. After dinner, we gathered in the living room and continued to talk. The children played with Lily, and everyone was enjoying the evening. Mr. Thompson thanked us all for being there and for supporting him during the difficult times. As the night came to an end, David pulled me aside and said, "Thank you, Jason. My father told me how you helped him reach out to me. I can't express how much this means to me and my family." I smiled and said, "I'm just glad I could help. It's important to cherish the people we love." In the months that followed, Mr. Thompson and David continued to grow closer. They visited each other often, and their relationship flourished. Mr. Thompson became more involved in the community again, and his happiness was evident to everyone who knew him. One day, Mr. Thompson invited me over for a special project. He wanted to create a family scrapbook to document the memories he and David were making. We spent several afternoons sorting through old photographs, letters, and memorabilia. We added new pictures of David and his family, and Mr. Thompson wrote heartfelt notes to accompany each page. The scrapbook turned out beautifully, and Mr. Thompson was very proud of it. He gave it to David as a gift, and it became a cherished family heirloom. As the years went by, my friendship with Mr. Thompson remained strong. He continued to share his wisdom and stories with me, and I learned a lot from him. I also grew close to David and his family, and we spent many holidays and special occasions together. One day, Mr. Thompson called me over to his house. He looked serious and had something important to tell me. "Jason, I want you to have something," he said as he handed me a small box. Inside the box was a beautiful pocket watch. It was old and intricately designed. This watch has been in my family for generations. It was my father's, and he gave it to me when I became a father. I want you to have it as a token of my gratitude for everything you've done for me and my family. I was deeply touched by his gesture. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. This means a lot to me," I said. Mr. Thompson smiled and said, "You are like a grandson to me, Jason. I am grateful for your friendship and the positive impact you've had on my life." As I held the watch in my hand, I felt a deep sense of connection and gratitude. My journey with Mr. Thompson had taught me the importance of kindness, empathy, and the power of reconciliation. It was a journey that had changed both our lives for the better. This is my story about my neighbor's secret and the unexpected adventure it led to. It is a story of friendship, forgiveness, and the importance of cherishing the people we love. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.